Hey, I'm Mandy from DEEPLIZARD. In this episode, we'll introduce MobileNets, a class of lightweight, deep convolutional neural networks that are much smaller and faster in size than many of the mainstream popular models that are really well known. MobileNets are a class of small, low-power, low-latency models that can be used for things like classification, detection, and other things that CNNs are typically good for. And because of their small size, these models are considered great for mobile devices, hence the name MobileNets. So I have some stats taken down here. So just to give a quick comparison in regards to size, the size of the full VGG16 network that we've worked with in the past few episodes is about 553 megabytes on disk. So pretty large, generally speaking. The size of one of the currently largest MobileNets is only about 17 megabytes. So that's a pretty huge difference, especially when you think about deploying a model to run on a mobile app, for example. This vast size difference is due to the number of parameters or weights and biases contained in the model. So, for example, let's see, VGG16, as we saw previously, has about 138 million total parameters. So, a lot. And the 17 megabyte MobileNet that we talked about, which was the largest MobileNet currently, has only about 4.2 million parameters. So that is much, much smaller on a relative scale than VGG16 with 138 million. Aside from the size on disk being a consideration when it comes to comparing MobileNets to other larger models, we also need to consider the memory as well. So the more parameters that a model has, the more space in memory it will be taking up also. So while MobileNets are faster and smaller than the competitors of these big hefty models like VGG16, there is a catch or a trade-off, and that trade-off is accuracy. So MobileNets are not as accurate as some of these big players like VGG16, for example. But don't let that discourage you. While it is true that MobileNets aren't as accurate as these resource-heavy models like VGG16, for example, the trade-off is actually pretty small, with only a relatively small reduction in accuracy. And in the corresponding blog for this episode, I have a link to a paper that goes more in depth to this relatively small accuracy difference if you'd like to check that out further. Let's now see how we can work with MobileNets and code with Keras. Alright, so we are in our Jupyter notebook, and the first thing we need to do is import all of the packages that we will be making use of, which these are not only for this video, but for the next several videos where we will be covering MobileNet. And as mentioned earlier in this course, a GPU is not required, but if you're running a GPU, then you want to run this cell. This is the same cell that we've seen a couple of times already in this course earlier, where we are just making sure that TensorFlow can identify our GPU if we're running one, and it is setting the memory growth to true if we do have a GPU. So again, don't worry if you don't have a GPU, don't worry, but if you do, then run this cell. Similar to how we downloaded the VGG16 model when we were working with it in previous episodes, we take that same approach to download MobileNet here. So we call tf.keras.applications.mobilenet.mobilenet, and that, the first time we call it, is going to download MobileNet from the internet, so you need an internet connection. But subsequent calls to this are just going to be getting the model from a saved model on disk and loading it into memory here. So we are going to do that now and assign that to this mobile variable. Now, MobileNet was originally trained on the ImageNet library, just like VGG16. So in a few minutes, we will be passing some images to MobileNet that I've saved on disk. They are not images from the ImageNet library, but they are images of some general things, and we're just going to get an idea about how MobileNet performs on these random images. But first, in order to be able to pass these images to MobileNet, we're going to have to do a little bit of processing first. So I've created this function called prepareImage, and what it does is it takes a file name, and then inside the function we have an image path which is pointing to the location on disk where I have these saved image files that we're going to use to get predictions from MobileNet. So we have this image path defined to where these images are saved. We then load the image by using the image path and appending the file name that we pass in. So say if I pass in image 1.png here, then we're going to take that file path, append 1.png here, pass that to load image, and pass this target size of 224 by 224. Now, this load image function is from the Keras API. So what we are doing here is we are just taking the image file, resizing it to be of size 224 by 224, because that is the size of images that MobileNet expects. And then we just take this image and transfer it to be in a format of an array. Then we expand the dimensions of this image because that's going to put the image in the shape that MobileNet expects. And then finally, we pass this new processed image to our last function, which is tf.keras.applications.mobilenet.preprocess input. So this is a similar function to what we saw a few episodes back when we were working with VGG16. It had its own preprocess input. Now MobileNet has its own preprocess input function, which is processing images in a way that MobileNet expects. So it's not the same way as VGG16. Actually, it's just scaling all the RGB pixel values to be on a scale, instead of from 0 to 255, to be on a scale from -1 to 1. So that's what this function is doing. So overall, this entire function is just resizing the image and putting it into an array format with expanded dimensions, and then MobileNet processing it, and then returning this processed image. Okay, so that's kind of a mouthful, but that's what we got to do to images before we pass them to MobileNet. All right, so we will just define that function, and now we are going to display our first image called 1.png from our MobileNet samples directory that I told you I just set up with a few random images, and we're going to plot that to our Jupyter notebook here. And what do you know? It's a lizard. So that is our first image. Now we are going to pass this image to our prepare image function that we defined right above that we just finished talking about. So we're going to pass that to the function to preprocess the image accordingly. Then we are going to pass the preprocessed image returned by the function to our MobileNet model. And we're going to do that by calling predict on the model, just like we've done in previous videos when we've called predict on models to use them for inference. Then, after we get the prediction for this particular image, we are then going to give this prediction to this ImageNet utils.decode predictions function. So this is a function from Keras that is just going to return the top 5 predictions from the 1,000 possible ImageNet classes, and it's going to tell us the top 5 that MobileNet is predicting for this image. So let's run that and then print out those results, and maybe you can have a better idea of what I mean once you see the printed output. So we run this and we have our output. So these are the top 5 in order results from the ImageNet classes that MobileNet is predicting for this image. So it's assigning a 58% probability to this image of being an American chameleon, 28% probability to green lizard, 13% to a gamma, and then we have some small percentages here under 1% for these other 2 types of lizards. So it turns out, if you're not aware, and I don't know how you could not be aware of this because everyone should know this, but this is an American chameleon. And I don't know, I've always called these things green anoles, but I looked it up and they're also known as American chameleons. So MobileNet got it right. So yeah, it assigned a 58% probability. That was the highest, most probable class. Next was green lizard. So I'd say that that is still really good for that to be your second place. I don't know if green lizard is supposed to be more general, and then a gamma, which is also a similar looking lizard if you didn't know. So between these top 3 classes that it predicted, this is almost 100% between the 3 of these. I would say MobileNet did a pretty good job on this prediction. So let's move on to number 2. All right, so now we are going to plot our second image, and this is a cup of, well, I originally thought that it was espresso, and then someone called it a cup of cappuccino. So let's say, I'm not sure. I'm not a coffee connoisseur, although I do like both espresso and cappuccinos. This looks like it has some cream in it, so hey. Now we're going to go through the same process of what we just did for the lizard image, where we are passing this new image to our prepare image function so that it undergoes all of the pre-processing. Then we are going to pass the pre-processed image to the predict function for our MobileNet model. Then finally, we are going to get the top 5 results from the predictions for this model in regards to the ImageNet classes. So let's see. All right, so according to MobileNet, this is an espresso, not a cappuccino. So I don't know, but it predicts 99% probability of espresso as being the most probable class for this particular image. And I'd say that that is pretty reasonable. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Is this espresso or cappuccino? I don't know if ImageNet had a cappuccino class. So if it didn't, then I'd say that this is pretty spot on. But you can see that the other 4 predictions are all less than 1%, but they are reasonable. I mean, the second one is cup, third eggnog, fourth coffee mug, fifth wooden spoon gets a little bit weird, but there is wood, there is a circular shape going on here, but these are all under 1%, so they're pretty negligible. I would say MobileNet did a pretty great job at giving a 99% probability to espresso for this image. All right, we have one more sample image, so let's bring that in. And this is a strawberry, or multiple strawberries if you consider the background. So same thing, we are pre-processing the strawberry image, then we are getting a prediction from MobileNet for this image, and then we are getting the top 5 results for the most probable predictions among the 1,000 ImageNet classes. And we see that MobileNet, with 99.999% probability, classifies this image as a strawberry correctly, so very well. And the rest are well under 1%, but they are all fruits, so interesting. Another really good prediction from MobileNet. So even with the small reduction in accuracy that we talked about at the beginning of this episode, you can probably tell from just these 3 random samples that that reduction is maybe not even noticeable when you're just doing tests like the ones that we just ran through. So in upcoming episodes, we're actually going to be fine-tuning this MobileNet model to work on a custom dataset. And this custom dataset is not one that was included in the original ImageNet library. It's going to be a brand new dataset. We're going to do more fine-tuning than what we've done in the past, so stay tuned for that. By the way, we are currently in Vietnam filming this episode. If you didn't know, we also have a vlog channel where we document our travels and share a little bit more about ourselves. So check that out at DEEPLIZARD Vlog on YouTube. Also, be sure to check out the corresponding blog for this episode, along with other resources available on DEEPLIZARD.com. And check out the DEEPLIZARD HIVEMIND, where you can gain exclusive access to perks and rewards. Thanks for contributing to collective intelligence. I'll see you next time.